on earth to do exactly what we're doing now. We love doing this. We love meeting new people, and it just gets us so freaking excited. We think you as family, and we love you all. So, at the base and the heart of midlife crisis, not gonna lie, it's Mikey G and Maddie Mintz. And why it is because over 30 years ago, I met this crazy SOB at the 4th grade bus stop. I swear to you, when I first laid eyes on this dude, he was perpendicular to the ground, or not perpendicular, like horizontal to the ground, hanging at a 90-degree off a stop sign. And I was like, what the hell did I just get myself into? And since that, we had a budding, flourishing relationship, been best friends our whole lives. Obviously, life got in the way. You go to college, you get married, you start businesses, things happen. Fittingly enough, our midlife crisis brought us back together, hence the name. We're older than most people in this space, but we found NFTs about a year ago, and then we said, you know what, we're really gonna create a company. As we get more connected, as we go into the metaverse, what we're about to do is meeting new people, having real raw conversations. We think it's gonna become a lost art. So we're here to make that happen, to bring it all to you, and to help you expand, learn, and grow. And we came up with a very simple mission statement. That mission statement is to bring back the lost art of genuine human connection. And I got one last thing to say, and I'm dead serious when I say this. I genuinely, and Maddie genuinely believes we were put on earth to do exactly what we're doing now. We love doing this. We love meeting new people, and it just gets us so freaking excited. We think you as family, and we love you all. So, at the base and the heart of midlife crisis, not gonna lie, it's Mikey G and Maddie Mintz. And why it is because over 30 years ago, I met this crazy SOB at the 4th grade bus stop. I swear to you, when I first laid eyes on this dude, he was perpendicular to the ground, or not perpendicular, like horizontal to the ground, hanging at a 90-degree off a stop sign. And I was like, what the hell did I just get myself into? And since that, we had a budding, flourishing relationship, been best friends our whole lives. Obviously, life got in the way. You go to college, you get married, you start businesses, things happen. Fittingly enough, our midlife crisis brought us back together, hence the name. We're older than most people in this space, but we found NFTs about a year ago, and then we said, you know what, we're really gonna create a company. As we get more connected, as we go into the metaverse, what we're about to do is meeting new people, having real raw conversations. We think it's gonna become a lost art. So we're here to make that happen, to bring it all to you, and to help you expand, learn, and grow. And we came up with a very simple mission statement. That mission statement is to bring back the lost art of genuine human connection. And I got one last thing to say, and I'm dead serious when I say this. I genuinely, and Maddie genuinely believes we were put on earth to do exactly what we're doing now. We love doing this. We love meeting new people, and it just gets us so freaking excited. We think you as family, and we love you all. So, at the base and the heart of midlife crisis, not gonna lie, it's Mikey G and Maddie Mintz. And why it is because over 30 years ago, I met this crazy SOB at the 4th grade bus stop. I swear to you, when I first laid eyes on this dude, he was perpendicular to the ground, or not perpendicular, like horizontal to the ground, hanging at a 90-degree off a stop sign. And I was like, what the hell did I just get myself into? And since that, we had a budding, flourishing relationship, been best friends our whole lives. Obviously, life got in the way. You go to college, you get married, you start businesses, things happen. Fittingly enough, our midlife crisis brought us back together, hence the name. We're older than most people in this space, but we found NFTs about a year ago, and then we said, you know what, we're really gonna create a company. As we get more connected, as we go into the metaverse, what we're about to do is meeting new people, having real raw conversations. We think it's gonna become a lost art. So we're here to make that happen, to bring it all to you, and to help you expand, learn, and grow. And we came up with a very simple mission statement. That mission statement is to bring back the lost art of genuine human connection. And I got one last thing to say, and I'm dead serious when I say this. I genuinely, and Maddie genuinely believes we were put on earth to do exactly what we're doing now. We love doing this. We love meeting new people, and it just gets us so freaking excited. We think you as family, and we love you all. So, at the base and the heart of midlife crisis, not gonna lie, it's Mikey G and Maddie Mintz. And why it is because over 30 years ago, I met this crazy SOB at the 4th grade bus stop. I swear to you. What up, folks? Dude, Wire is here. That's my Call of Duty boy. Hell yeah.
Wire man, what's up?
Oh, what up, Wire? We're waiting for our boy. I don't listen. Let's just be honest. It's either a Mikey G mess up or something has happened to our boy Abyssal. I don't know how to pronounce this.
Abysmal?
No, that's what I thought. But it's Abyssal, Abyssal.
Oh, Abyssal. Okay.
Like an abyss, right? I think that's what he's going for.
I got it. Okay.
He's active. He's active. I'm not just quite sure what to do. I'm in the Discord right now. But again, this totally SV's checking on the admin group, dog. But how you doing, dude?
Dude.
We got 7 people watching, brother.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love you all.
Let's talk. Tell me about your day today. It's so good to see everyone.
Hold on. My cell phone needs to be the 8th viewer. Hold on. Let's get this going. Boom. We got 8 viewers all.
Add me on. My cell phone needs to go on. We're getting 9.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. This is the secret, folks. They don't tell you about. If you want to go from 800 to 802 views, you put your cell phones on there.
This is what you need to do.
So, no, man, great day. Just woke up. I mean, you and I have been chatting a lot. We got a lot going on. We have a lot in the hopper.
Dude,
editing
so much in the hopper.
Crazy. Yeah, man. Just trying to get these video clips done. Chopping up the Morgan stream right now, and I got a ton of clips from that. Really excited about it. Almost done that, and then I'll start uploading them all to YouTube. Yeah, man. I mean, it's all good stuff. Obviously, I'm getting ready for the move, so that's got a little bit of extra stuff going into it. And yeah, no complaints, man. It was a great day. I'm always excited for stream day, so that's I get to hang out, chat with my best buddy, talk to people, make friends. So I'm hoping that Abyssal figures out a way to hop in here.
I just got word some things have come up, but he should be hopping in about 10 minutes, dog. So we will still have a show.
Okay. All right. Well, then what about you, man? Tell me about your day.
All right, this shit's insane.
Dew? Is that a Diet Mountain Dew going on?
DMD, Diet Mountain, DMD, dude. Diet Mountain Dew is the freaking way. By the way, bro, I've been crushing water Anybody else here just understand how amazing water can change your life if you actually crush it religiously?
Yeah, you gotta really get through it because a lot of people, to get hydrated, man, it's a couple days of crushing water
Right.
to really get your body used to it. But even if you just do it for one day, just the flush on your kidneys and your liver, it's real nice. Real
Oh,
nice.
wait. Are you shitting me? Dude, the man didn't know that Diamond 2 even existed? Like, what?
Whoa.
Come on. I like, I
I
like,
mean,
I like Matt's Matt's voices are fantastic. When you just replied with a whoa. But
I
yes,
mean, it
it's
wasn't on the level of oof, but it's in there.
oof, it's in there. But listen, man, we got somebody coming. I'm pretty excited about it because me and you played MMORPGs. We still love them. I want to game more. I want to get to the point where we have enough people helping us out to do all of the things that take my entire day. So I have an hour to play some video games. That would be freaking awesome.
Okay.
Uh,
All right.
but I
So tell
did
me,
play video
I
games on a business call today with our man Harshin from National Lampoons. So that was kind of cool.
dude, that's cool, man. When you're working and playing at the same time, that's the real cheat code.
Yeah,
So let me ask you
absolutely.
this, man, since we got a little bit of time, catch me up on the video game world, man. I've been shut off from video games. The only thing I know is that a new Diablo 4 trailer came out that you have
What?
not seen.
What?
It was the date announcement. This the release date announcement trailer.
Should I just play
Now,
that right now?
I mean, you're welcome. Do it, man. Why not? Yeah.
Ah, I
So,
have not seen this yet, and I
it
am
is new.
extremely excited to watch this.
Luckily, this is a mature stream, so we'll be fine.
Yeah,
But yeah, dude, I will say,
absolutely.
up. What do I got here?
What?
I got guys, let me in. Razzle.
Who's
I got.
Razzle?
I don't know. I'm in the waiting room for the initial part. I see
Hmm.
Abyssal's already in there.
Okay.
Is Razzle
Oh, that might be a
part
new
of?
one. Yeah, hold on.
Let's check. We're
Just
checking.
say, just say,
Razzle dazzle.
Razzle Dazzle's here. We're talking to Razzle Dazzle real quick. You are
Okay.
in. You can hop in stream.
Whoa.
See.
Is that the person? Is that who we're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Abyssal.
I don't know which one it is, but that's their artwork. So I'm assuming it's somebody associated with the project. Just
Okay.
searched it up, had no clue Diet Mountain Dew existed. Listen, in the meantime, while we wait for our man Abyssal, uh, we're gonna play this freaking trailer because you got me all jazzed up about
But
this.
is there anything else in the
Oh
game
wait,
world? Because that's the only thing I know going on.
I have no clue, man. Other
Oh,
than
okay.
me
I didn't
just
know if you were
playing
following.
shit tons of Call of Duty and
Oh,
waiting,
you're just playing Call of Duty.
I'm just
Okay.
grinding camos, man. That's the only thing I know. I know nothing else about the video game world. Damn, I want to play some video games though.
I
Okay,
know, man.
so Diablo 4 announcement trailer is what I'm looking for.
No, not announcement. It was the release date trailer. It just came. You'll
Okay.
see it. It's only a couple weeks old.
Diablo 4 release date trailer.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
And
Dun.
remember what we talked about back in our gaming stream days.
So the
Remember when we
cinematic
did?
release date trailer is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Let me just go to YouTube.
Let me
But
get this up on here.
so what's wild about it though is that
This looks real nice.
remember we talked about it. Diablo 2 was dark. Diablo 3 was a lot more chipper. It wasn't as like
I
based
mean,
on like
chipper for
real
Diablo, chipper for Diablo.
for Diablo, but dude, remember the release trailer? I'm sorry, the announcement trailer where those three dudes were sacrificed and old girl came out of their like had a cloak made of their skin.
Right.
Like that is Diablo
All
4
right.
dark,
All right. I'll
right?
give you that. I'll
That
give you
is
that.
definitely not Diablo 3. So what I'm saying is this, hey, this trailer follows along with the theme.
Hey,
This is
listen.
not supposed to be a bright and friendly game.
And for Midlife Crisis
Star has never played Diablo.
historical reference, the reason why we're so excited is we played Diablo 3 and Elder Scrolls on our stream before we even got into this whole NFT world thing.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we are locked and loaded, bro. This is the first time I've ever watched it. I'm pretty excited.
All right, let's give it, guys. If you're a
Let's do
Diablo
it.
fan, careful though. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little dark.
Yeah, good thing we are a mature stream, huh?
Blizzard makes the best cutscenes.
Oh! That looks painful.
You're gonna get excited, Mike.
I'm already excited.
Oh, you'll see.
That material.
Nay, we fight true in his holy name. Blessed be the light.
I have returned to hell for you.
Yes. June, baby. In June, baby. Oh, that got
You
me
believe that?
super jazzed up.
All right. All right, look who we got in the VIP waiting room just in time.
Oh, our boy is here. Perfect timing. Oh my god, dude, that was amazing. I am going to, what am I going to do? Because we need to, we're just going to go straight with it, man. We're just going to bring them on. We don't have time to do the kind of whole intro thing. So
Yeah, we don't. So, guys, this is F it. We're going to do it live.
we're going to do it live. You get to see kind of what we do. That trailer was fucking awesome. All right, let's do it, baby.
All right, man.
Hey, hey, hey,
Hello,
hey,
hello.
hey. How's it going? Razzle, I think your mic is
You're
is muted.
There we go.
There it is. You there?
Oh, well, you're unmuted now. That's good.
Is it a
Alright.
push to talk? We're going to make sure there's no push to talk. I don't know. You do that sometime.
No. So I got Abyssal. Abyssal is talking back in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're here. So wait.
I don't know who
or
Razzle
Abyssal?
is. Who the hell's
Well,
Razzle?
Well, we don't know.
Oh, there he is.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Oh, we got another.
Razzle, we're going to switch you out. All right.
Abyssal, are you there? Hello.
We got people in here. Can they hear us?
Listen to us. Our chat is full, people. Our chat is full.
Oh. We lost Abyssal.
Abyssal's now gone.
Yeah, I know you only see my chin, but you know, it's a nice chin, so you guys are in luck. Bonji hears us. Star hears us.
All right, Abyssal's back. Abyssal's back. He's coming back in. Hello. There he is.
Can you guys hear me?
I can
Yep,
hear
we
you
hear you
now,
now.
dog.
Sorry, guys. I just woke up a few minutes back. I think I was on a bit of meds because I had a little bit of sore throat and stuff.
Oh, I remember you saying that you were sick last time I talked to you.
Right. I think that kind of knocked me out.
It's
So,
all right, man.
apologies.
It's okay. Life happens. We understand. Since
It's around,
go ahead.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out how to get this working on my laptop, my Discord on my laptop as well. Usually, on meetings, it's usually other apps. So
Okay.
that's why I can't figure out the streaming. There.
There you are,
There we
man.
go.
Damn, you're looking
What's
beautiful.
up?
You look real
So-
nice.
So is Razzle the laptop?
Yeah, what's Razzle then?
Razzle is Usher. He's my co-founder. He woke me up like, yo man, you have the AMAs and stuff like that.
So
Got it.
we're just gonna be talking to you though, right?
Yep, definitely.
Alright.
He'll be here. He was with his family and stuff, but
Okay.
he might chime in.
Okay, cool.
Razzle, you
Awesome.
there?
Well, we're gonna pop him out of the stream chat because it'll affect the video. So we need to crop everything in.
No, it's fine. If he's gonna
Oh,
stay
is that
here,
cool?
yeah.
All right, if he's staying, that's fine. We'll just do that.
Razzle, feel free to chime in when you want to. I'm just gonna crop around it. But you're good, man. Are you sure? Are you sure you can handle what we're about to drop and deliver? Because we're going deep. Are you ready to do that? Are you up to it? Are you feeling okay?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, we're gonna do it. This is gonna be fun. Since we didn't have a chance to do kind of our typical, so we usually do kind of a typical prep beforehand. How about you? Are you at a comfortable place, like where your camera's going to be? Because since we'll be talking, like get situated, because I have to crop around your video. So if you start moving a whole bunch, it's going to cut you off, So maybe you want to.
Yeah, I'm holding it, but yeah, I guess it's fine.
Well, you don't want to hold the whole time. Maybe
Yeah,
prop
you're not gonna
prop
wanna
it
hold
up,
this for-
prop it up somewhere so you don't have to hold it.
Yeah, give me a second.
Take your time, man. Take your time.
Right.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Is there a way to unmute users? Like, I think Razzle's trying to talk, but he can't.
Oh, he's probably on that push to talk situation, Manny.
Hold.
All right, I think you're good.
He's unmuted right now. He's not muted.
Yeah, he's unmuted for some odd reason. So
Because right now he's off muted.
Yeah, Usher, can you hear me? Okay, he has some issues trying to make it work.
All right. Let me see.
well, how about we get the ball rolling, and in the meantime, if he figures it out, great. If not, we'll just have to do another AMA, maybe via Twitter. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right, cool. So since we didn't have a chance to, usually we kind of introduce you with a little bit of resume, background, fun fact about yourself. I won't put you on the spot there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go straight to the bread and butter. And like I said, Maddie, go ahead if you want to chime in
no,
on
but
something.
let's do that though. Let's at least give people a chance to know who we're talking to.
Right.
Right.
So let's do that. How about take a minute or two? And what do you want us to call you? Abyssal or by your first name? What do you prefer?
You can call me Fazy or DG. No probs.
All right, we're gonna call you DG. And
DG.
so,
Alright.
Okay.
so DG, give us just give us a quick minute and a half resume about your actual like previous experience before the whole NFT stuff started.
So we're omitting the blockchain part and all the crypto stuff.
Well,
Alright.
yeah, we'll get there, but just give us
like, what
kind of
would
your
be the
background,
basis
your
of, like,
resume.
your LinkedIn profile. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? What are some of the highlights?
Right. Well, I've been into business and entrepreneurship ever since I was 15, 16. I had my own educational and trading consultancies. I've been into real estate as well at one point. And my background is I have an engineering degree.
Ooh.
And then I had been part of a few firms, mainly for BI, business intelligence, data intelligence, those kind of fields. And then, but it has always been the business side, which always fascinated me. So that was how my educational journey kind of like stemmed out from there, from more of the more electronic side, and then went into BI data as like a data scientist, more into business intelligence. So there's a lot of ETL tools and stuff. We analyze a lot of data and then make it into different formats and stuff. And this, I was able to use that for my, educational ventures as well, for a lot of different purposes. And then that transformed later into, right now the most predominant all those experience into the blockchain venture. So this has been quite a journey for me. So yeah, now if you guys are asking like why this isn't that much, it's because it has I started as if around 16 years. Right now I'm 24 years old, so 8 years of my journey where I went
Yeah.
through all the
No,
business
I didn't
venture.
think that at all, man.
No,
I mean,
no, no,
geez, you
not
already
at all.
listed. Yeah.
And that's a
You've
good
already listed quite a bit.
that's a good little deep dive on kind of your resume. So now we're actually going to start the show. And so how we start the show, like I told you, is we ask one question. It's a very simple question: is how did you get to the seat you're sitting in today? And Maddie, how do we like to describe that? Give us what?
Yeah, we want Star Wars episode 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so give us the full background. We don't just need Rogue One. We know you're in Web3. We know that you got a project that you're heading up, but we want to find who are you? What got you here, right? You were at
Right.
15, 16, you were a business owner. Were you always interested in that? Are your parents business owners and they kind of pushed you towards that? What got you interested there? Did you play sports? What happened in college? You went from business owner to engineering. See, all these things we're interested in. So we're looking for Star Wars episode 1, 2, and 3, and then we'll move into how you got into Web3. So that's what we're after.
Does that make
Bring us
sense?
through a journey.
All right. Before I do that, Mikey, I think Usher's there in the VIP waiting room again.
Okay.
Uh,
Let me see.
please,
Okay.
if possible.
Yep.
And in the meantime, oh, he's here again. Hey, Usher, you
Let's see.
there?
He's
He's
muted right
muted.
now.
You
Unmute
try
you.
to.
Hello? Hello, can you hear
Yep,
me?
There
now we
you
got him. Now he's
are.
not muted.
There you
Perfect.
are.
Finally.
All right. I've been trying this for a while. All right, I'm here. You guys continue. Thank you.
Yeah,
Perfect.
absolutely.
Yep, we can hear you.
So, feel free to chime in the discussion, but we're getting Abyssal
DGs.
start us or sorry, it's DG. Start us when you're young, man. Start like where were you when you're young? What
Yeah.
family influence, and take us up to finding Web3. We want that whole chunk, and we're gonna have a good conversation
Right.
around that.
Well, I started off quite in college. That was there was a time when it was like I did make most of my education in Saudi, and then towards my college, I moved to India to pursue the rest of my higher education, especially college in India. And That's where I saw, especially the university which I was studying in. It was a lot of students focused on the business side of things, even though it was an engineering university. So that kind of gave me a lot of connections because most of the students who came there, even though they had even though it was for engineering degrees and stuff, there was a lot of um, students from affluent families as well as connections which could be properly utilized for, especially for if they wanted to start any kind of business. There's plenty of different people in that college. It's a pretty important college. I mean, pretty prestigious college over there in India. So
What was it called?
I was fortunate. It's called SRM,
Okay.
Okay.
and there was a lot of students and different with different backgrounds, like over there, and that was kind of like the plug, you can say, um, because that helped me make a lot of valuable connections. I'm not from my even though my family's from has business background, but my immediate family, my mom and dad, they're not business people at all.
Okay.
Yeah,
They're
so
more yeah.
take us back through that because I mean you went right to college, but I am interested because you said you were a business owner at 15, 16,
Mhm.
or at least you had that mindset. Take
Right.
us, what was it like, in a family that has business ownership background, but parents that don't specifically have that? What was that like? Did they push you towards business? Did they push you away from business? What
Right.
was it like?
Oh, they never like business.
Yeah,
They're they hate business.
Interesting.
got it.
Business is more risky, and
Mm,
even though the so ours is a bit of a bigger family. We have it's a known family, but at the same time, it's more renowned for having a little bit of political influence, and it was an old family basically. That's
got
how
it. Yeah, I
my
get it. Yeah.
and but my immediate family, they were pretty much detached from all these things. So construction, real estate, politics, none of these. They were more into like nuclear family kind of stuff.
Okay,
Um,
that's great.
Engineering, doctor. My mom is a doctor. My dad's an engineer. Control system. He and It's more of a vibe which was there for learning more a streamlined course kind of thing. So I was more motivated, I mean, by them to take a specific course, which, kind of like this will give you a safe future, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Hmm.
It's a bit
Yep.
different, not like the West in the Middle East or in the Asian region. That's not how education works. Education is more driven towards certain streams, like especially the popular streams like uh, medical or engineering. These are the two main, mainstream
Yeah,
Right.
stuff
traditional
over there.
professions.
So
Yeah.
what I'm hearing is
Exactly.
your parents really were trying to, and what were hoping that you would become an engineer or a doctor or a lawyer, something that seemed prestigious but
Yeah.
also safe, right? Because you can make a
And
career.
stable.
Um,
Mhm.
uh,
Yeah, it's a safe choice that they wanted from me, basically.
right.
Sure.
So talk to us about your 15, 16 starting businesses. So something happened between what your parents were telling you and then what
Yeah.
you decided, hey, this is actually not what I want to do. So can you talk to us about some of these experiences when you were younger that maybe pushed you in that direction? Were there things that you were interested in? Did you have any like influences in your life that made you started thinking differently? Love to hear about that.
Most definitely, Mikey. Well, this is like taking me like through my childhood kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, like it was mainly so there were some instances in my life which caused me to I mean, I was always interested in business. Even as a kid, I was like trading cards, trying to make. I was like having Yu-Gi-Oh cards and then
Yes.
Pokemon cards, and I had all these. I was selling them. I got caught for selling them, and apparently it was a bad thing in my school. Uh, so yeah, and later on in my college time, I was put through a situation uh, by my uh, by my parents, not intentionally, but just a course of actions of my own consequences of my stuff, where I was put under more of a. It's very different, as I said, guys. Not like the West here. Here, it's more. So in the West, it's like you go to college
Yeah.
and then you own your own. You get your own bread.
Right.
Hmm.
But in the Middle East and as well as the Asian countries, it's like they still support you. They don't kick you out yet.
Right.
Got it.
So yeah, so that continues until you're doing your own job. Like once you're doing your job, then you own your own, man. Like
Right.
until then, they still support you. So they were doing that, and at one point, I was under the situation where I was provided a lot of finances during my first year of college.
Oh.
I was very happy, and then during and I was doing some certain things like getting a lot of connections and stuff in college,
Yeah.
but nothing much of a not so predominantly using anything for anything.
Right.
But in towards the second years of my college, it was a 4-year degree. I was pushed into the situation where my allowances suddenly got cut because over there again it's different. It's like more grade based. So if you have a good grade, you get
Gotcha.
more benefit. You get
Got it.
lower grades, you're like kind of like grounded.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was grounded.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Because you were
So
networking, right? You were networking.
yeah, not for anything beneficial at that stage, but
Right.
then I was networking and I was just chilling and having living my life.
Right.
And and then that's kind of like when my parents decided that I was just getting carried away. So as any responsible parent, they grounded me, and I felt a sudden impact of that because I was put through this very tight budget, very tight budgeting where I will be able to not use much funds. I mean, like very less funds. And now I'm forced at the stage where I have to do some job. I mean, I don't have to, but then I'm like, I can't do anything else which I was doing before.
Right.
Like if I have to go
Right.
out,
Yeah.
do
Your
anything else.
social life got drastically decreased probably. And you had enough.
Exactly.
You could pay for food and you could go to school pretty much, and they drastically
Yeah,
decreased that. Interesting.
right. I had my bare necessities covered,
Right.
but then I had that's all I had, like just
Yeah.
a roof over my head and food, that kind of situation. So there was what I went through, and at that kind of time, I decided that a couple of my friends were doing a lot of different types of stuff, and I decided that okay, why don't I do something? Because anyway, I wanted to do something like side hustle. That's how I started using up my network for. It started with so educational consultancies were booming at that time, and that's when I decided. I mean, a lot of them, if they're referred to certain educational consultancies, they earned a fee. This fee was a pretty extraordinary amount, and so it's basically it goes from it goes it's a pretty large amount we're talking about here. Like it ranges from 1,000 to max of $10,000
Uh-huh.
per uh per deal. Where so it went from there. It went from that, and I was motivated by that, and I
Mhm.
got really successful because of my wide network. Um, so instead of referring those seats at one stage, I started having my own company, my own group. This took
Interesting.
off, and this was later formed into a company, and that is how I have one educational firm which caters, and then we spun it around, giving more guidance to students so that they also can choose what kind of stream they should go for, not be limited to a particular stream.
Right.
So
Okay.
more like so at the school age, if they approach our firm, basically, because that was also my intention. Because at one point I figured, like, maybe some students might be counseled, on what course they should go for,
Right.
and I went. So I put up my own company initially, even though it was as a raffle mode, like where they won certain colleges, we help sort out the admission there, and it shifted to more on me helping on a general scale what course they want,
Right.
and
Yeah.
that was really successful, and we were one of the biggest players in a certain area for particular colleges and stuff.
Right.
So
Okay.
that went really well for me. I was always into stocks and trading and stuff, so I got quick into trading, crypto stocks and all at a very early age. So
So you said something
that was
really interesting there, and I would love your thoughts on it. So you basically are being told to live a traditional life, go to college or university to get a safe job. You go off the
Yep.
rails, have some fun, and your parents are like, no, 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 no. We're taking your money away. This is not what college is for.
Right.
Um, but what you were doing in the having fun part was building an awesome network. So, what I'm
Correct.
interested to hear from you is when your parents then put you back in a box, limited your allowance, do you think that helped you, get back on the right track? Like, what would have happened if they didn't do that? I would love to hear your thoughts and perspectives.
I would have been a degenerate without, because I would not have the necessity to utilize what I was having, right?
Right.
Because the situation is what caused me to open up my mind to the actual value I have as an individual. If
Interesting.
that never happened, there will be no Faisy and no DG here talking in front of you, because what my dad did that time, knowingly or unknowingly, he instilled that feeling of actually earning, at the same time using what resources I had to the fullest potential as a financial, for financial gains, basically. And that is how I was able to build the educational empire those areas, and that helped me for a lot of fundraising for a lot of other stuff, and
Yeah.
that's how the backbone of my entire life was actually built. So that coupled with trading, with a lot of other like things like real estate and negotiating major deals like for malls, land deals, and other, with more influential people, gained me access to this
Yeah.
mentality of going forward and starting. Because if I never did any of that, I wouldn't be able to have the guts to start something on my
Right.
own or
Right.
I love it.
nothing.
So take
Yeah.
me other than so obviously parents a
Well,
huge influence. Real quick, Maddie, I
Right.
got this, and then you can chime in. That drastically changed the course of your life. Is there anything else that you can relate to your success as getting into that entrepreneurial mind and then starting to create an educational company in that mindset? Anything else other than your parents putting you in that box? And if not, that's totally fine. And then Maddie can go ahead.
It was it's been so, yeah, they did that. So the thing is, the people who we at that time, there was always exceptions, okay? Now, there was a situation in my life which, apart from just the financial amount, I felt that the network which I made, which I told you about, I felt there was, the guys who you call friends at one point. There is definitely exceptions. Those same guys. So it used to be like, Faizy's there. He pays for 10 people. It's all on me. That was the kind of lifestyle I had in the first year, and it's one of the reasons why my parents obviously grounded me, because it was like all on me kind of stuff.
yeah.
And those guys, after I had that situation where I was limited on funds, I was not having them as friends anymore. They were like, nah, man, I'm busy, you know? Right.
This is a life
I
lesson. I love
see.
this.
Little life lesson. Now that you can't pay for
Right.
everything, you find your true friends, right?
Right. So I've been through that thing, and I understood that, there a lot of people are not real, and
Yeah.
it's fake shit a lot. And so I went through that, that real life shit where where I saw all this happening to me, like, literally in front of my eyes.
Yeah.
So that opened me up to an access of who I should really be calling them as friend, and who I should be just, all right, it's just
Interesting.
another pointer.
I like
Got
that.
it.
So and not only that, the business, I mean, when I said about the referrals and stuff, that was highly infested with scams and
Yeah.
fraudulent people as well, because some people they refer, they don't get the referral fee, some nasty stuff like that, even after they do all the hard work, connecting, whatever. uh I saw that space. I never been scammed myself, but I heard of people getting scammed. I was fortunate enough to be connected to the right people, with the right network, and I wanted to build something in that very same space, something legitimately, a
Mm,
legit
Hmm.
stuff where people can connect, people can and act, and that is how I was able to build out one of the most important firms, which does educational counseling in that particular state. So
dude.
that led me to building something, which is completely contradictory to what was there
Yeah.
in the market.
Right. And
No,
I
I love it.
appreciate
I
that
love it.
insight. Maddie, go ahead. That was a great extra insight into the parents is who
It
can you
was.
trust and who really is your friend when,
Yep.
it gets hard, right? Maddie,
Well,
go for it.
what's and I think the lesson here that a lot of people would benefit from hearing is wealth is not what your bank account shows. Wealth is your
Right.
mentality. And what I think is interesting is that when you see somebody who's just given money, that doesn't mean they're wealthy, right?
Right.
You ever hear the famous saying, like, if you take a billionaire, if you took all their money away, they're still going to become a billionaire again because it's here that made them a
Mhm.
billionaire. And what creates that is the grind, the struggle. And I think it's fascinating because what happened to you uh, was you were forced to use very, very little resources and create something. And that is entrepreneurship at its finest, right? It's it's not, you can't brag to me and say, well, I had $1 million already, so I started a business with no investments. I didn't have to get anybody to give me money. I didn't
Right.
have to sell anything to anybody. And by the way, I took $1 million and made $100,000 out of it. Okay, good for you. You know what I mean? That's not tough. Like I
Right.
can buy a Lamborghini at one price and sell it for a higher price if that doesn't mean anything. Now, show me the person that bought the Lamborghini who had $5, you have my attention, right? Because they had to build something to do that hustle
Right.
and they learned. And it's cool because you were talking about the difference between education in the East versus the West. And I'll tell you, one of the things I think is so important is what happened is you faced a consequence for poor decisions. And the West is getting away from that, right? Consequences are a no-no. That you can't do that anymore. Everybody gets a trophy, everybody gets an A,
Yes.
everybody passes the course, everybody gets a degree. And then what happens is you go out into the world and you realize, well, you're not actually equipped. The irony is in that consequence, you were more equipped than you could have possibly been because you had to
Right.
learn how to succeed. And I think it's a fascinating thing. And the same thing happens with friendships, right? You can't buy friendships either. And we can try, but as you saw how quickly that erodes, your true friends are there while you're grinding. You know what I mean? And it's because they're like-minded and they see the work ethic. And if you're going a direction and other people are going the same direction, you'll gravitate towards each other naturally. And that's what's cool. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like attracts like. And so I think that's actually really, really cool, man. I mean, I think that was a fortunate situation for you to have gone through that
Right.
for sure,
Yeah, dude,
for
thank you
sure.
so much for sharing that insight. And I think now you kind of understand this is the stuff which we're interested in because it's now you're able to explain to your audience and anybody interested in buying your product, you are human and you learn some things and you learn them in interesting ways. Right. And so I think a good natural
Well,
next, go ahead, Manny.
and one other thing too, I'm sorry I forgot to say this, is the last part you said there, DG, when you said you took a business, you grew a business, by the way, with very little in an arena which you said was full of scams, lies, and deceit. And what immediately attracted my attention is when you said amidst that business environment, you wanted to build something legitimate.
Yes.
And what I think will resonate with a lot of people in this space, as you know, with just crypto and Web3 in general, can we all agree that this is a space with a lot of scams?
Right.
There's a lot of lies. There's a lot of people out here that don't have the best, um, uh, they're not looking out for your
Intention.
best interests, right? And
Right.
it's what's cool is that you already demonstrated you could build something in an arena like that
Right.
and build a legit business and thrive doing it and how effective that actually is. And so I think that says a lot. I think that's really cool.
And I'm glad you added that, Maddie, because that's really my next question. So where does that come from, DG? Because you see all of this scam stuff and you're like, but I want to do it the right way. Talk to us about that. Talk to us why you thought that way and what motivated you to do that, because that's very interesting to me.
Oh, as I told you before, this that referral business and stuff which they were doing, connecting people for that educational, that firm for that $1,000 to $10,000 fee. That was that was that fee never reached the person who connected unless the the agency or the a consulting firm was actually legit.
Right.
And 90% of the time that was fake.
Mhm.
Or it was one guy, they'll just hustle the other guy out. They'll just smoke them.
Right.
They take
Yeah.
after the thing is over, the process is over, they just ghost them.
Right.
They won't talk to them, and no one can. You can put a complaint on this, right?
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
it's a referral fees. It's
Yeah.
based on trust. trust me, bro, you got this.
Right.
Just reference me, and I'll get it all sorted. And that was never the case. Like in most cases, they uh, they they left them in their tracks, and there was no way to contact them after that.
Right.
And most of these guys, especially who is not having a name for themselves, they're trying to make a quick buck too. So it's like they scam one person, like you get scammed once, then you won't do it again. But
Right.
they already made their gain. They do the same thing with there's so that kind of colleges we're talking about. They had you know around 50,000, 60,000 students. So
Hmm.
plenty of people, right? You don't need to
Yeah.
talk to the same guy. It's like, okay, not you. Next.
Yeah.
They move on, and the scam continues. So he can continue making that without giving the people who connected their cut, and have a monopoly.
Right.
That seemed bullshit to me, because instead of that, it should be something built on trust instead. And I was able to mobilize a team who was more uh, trustworthy, who had vision. So at one point, what happened was there was already an existing firm which was doing this very well, very trustworthy. uh, our company, so the company I made was more like a subsidiary company, or a
Yeah.
joint venture. So the the person who was referring made at one point it became another company which we did a joint collaboration with. So that's how from the bottom it was more like a growth where we reached that stage. Uh, so this is insane amount of because I don't know if you guys know, there's two industries which are evergreen. One is hospitals, healthcare. Second is education. This is an evergreen industry you're talking about. They get
Yeah.
cash all the time.
Right.
And uh, this was like they were playing around with a lot of cash, like these guys. Uh, all
Yep.
the network,
Yep.
all the people you're talking about, especially in countries like India, if you're doing a huge industry of that caliber, you are bound to have huge political
Right.
influence.
Right.
So
So real
that
quick though, I think you did a great job of explaining why there was fraud. What I'm interested in, and what I was trying to get at before, is why did you think that way? Why did you say we need to do this right and I'm trusting? Does that come from your upbringing? Are you faith based? Like, where do you think that inherent need to do right and good came from?
well, I mean, I guess that had to do with my upbringing, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, like I don't think we should be, scamming people, or making money off another person's hard-earned cash.
Hmm.
Right.
Should be something we earn our own. Like there should be scams of of no kind. I mean, as far knowingly, we should never commit anything like that.
Yeah.
Maybe it might be my fate, maybe, but I always had this mentality, and I think that's something common. Maybe I'm thinking
No,
from
no,
my
it's fine.
perspective.
You don't have to have an answer. I was just interested in it. And I think, what makes sense to me is your upbringing, and you have faith of some sort. Like you want to do the right thing. I think that's inherent in everybody in the beginning, but then things go awry, right? And people
Yeah.
make bad
Right.
decisions based on ego, status, power, money, all of those things, right? Which you easily could have gone down that route. I was just interested in your mindset. And if you don't have a defined answer, that's totally fine. Um,
Never thought about it that hard, but yeah, I guess it was just there. Maybe my life choices so far never put me in that position, or and I never got, as I told you, I never got scammed myself. But seeing everything happening around me, I was more like, they shouldn't, we shouldn't do this to anyone.
right,
We have to be
Yeah.
right.
whatever others are doing, that's their own choice. But that, and it doesn't stay, man. You know,
Yep.
it's the real cash is when you build something legit, not when you scam people.
No, I
That
love it.
is that's the bullet point I think is important for people to understand, right? Because the truth is this, and this has been since the dawn of time. If you do it right, it lasts, right? Build your house on rock, not on the sand. And it's like, you're right. You can scam somebody and you can make a quick dollar today. But like you said, even at a university, you had to find someone new to scam, right? And what's
Right.
nice is like every customer you had remained a customer. So now you have a
Right.
second. When you find a second person, you have two people. And then when you find a third person, you have three people. And it's like, if you're talking about building a pipeline, the wealth comes from just doing it the right way. And I wish that was a lesson more people understood. Yes, it's a little bit slower, but long term, man, if you do it right, you it's like Mike and I talk a lot about how we want to do something that fills our conscience, right? You know what I mean? We want to make sure we can be happy at the end of the night when we go to bed that we're doing something good. But the greatest irony is it's that thing that ends up making you the most money anyway. And I think that that's a massive lesson, especially for people in business to learn. It's just better to have friends than enemies in the end of it. So
Most
that's
definitely. Right.
yeah,
Oh, sorry
I
about
love
that.
it. What's up, Mikey?
I had some
No, you good.
sound pop up. So yeah, man, let's take this through. You're building in this empire, you're learning, you're growing, you've got some good foundational principles. Get us to from your companies to finding Web3. I'm interested in that part of your journey.
Yep.
All right. So I came across crypto as initially as trading and stuff. Towards 2015, I got very
Okay.
much more involved by going through a phase where I started mining from
Mining.
2018. It was profitable, and it was mainly out of our own interest in the underlying tech. It was not out of main profit driven. It was more like an interest in this thing where everything is decentralized, and that concept where this can be something new, and I wanted it to be so when this was the thing. I knew about Bitcoins and stuff when at a very, very early stage, even when I was back in Saudi for in my school. It was
Okay.
just that this was more drug money, at that time. It was just
Yeah.
Silk Road tokens. It didn't have any of this monetary
Right.
value, which it holds now. It was merely a big and my schooling was mainly like there was a lot of free time for me during school, and I was very much interested in pen testing, things like that. So I was surfing the deep web quite a
Yeah.
bit, and so I knew about all this at a very early stage. And so when this was taking off in towards 2015 and stuff, I was like, "Oh shit, that thing which I thought was like cartel money is now changing into something really
Yeah.
this thing." So
Right.
that actually drove me into checking. So in my school days, I'm not gonna say that I knew everything about the merits of Bitcoin. I didn't know. I just knew that this was this was a currency which was used in the deep web. That's it. Pretty much what my knowledge base was, and I didn't scar too much into it. I was not fascinated as I am right now, or which I was in 2015. So around that time, I was looking more into it. Again, there was a lot of things about even then the same thing. Just like the business part, there was a lot of scams. BitConnect, a lot of other stuff, which kind of again made me open my eyes that maybe this industry wasn't ready and stuff. But that underlying tech about the decentralization part and this using being the next currency, digital currency, this was really fascinating to me. I thought that this will be something revolutionary, because there's no way we can continue going on with this kind of paper cash for how long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially with all the other techs going, rapidly. So that's the moment when I looked into certain cryptos. I was extremely interested in a few at that stage, like Ripple, and I don't remember a few others. Wait, VeChain. VeChain was my favorite, and a couple other at that stage towards 2018 shifted more into mining. And that's the time when I was like more getting my hands into it. But again, this as like from a note from the tech perspective again, about how this can be. So I always wanted to be part of part of something new. Like I knew there was this internet boom and stuff. The internet, or towards early 2000s, that was around the time I was born. So I was never part of that, and I I had that instinct that this was something like that, where this is the next revolution changing. So I wanted to be part. I wanted to learn more. That's how I got into all this. And 2018, I was into this ETH and stuff, and uh, later got into purchasing, trading. But this was a way for me to, uh, another. So as I told you before, I had trading consultancies.
Yeah.
I used to do on stock, and then shifted that to, I had investors as well. So and a team of traders. So that became like another side venture for me, where
Mhm.
we we trade for them, give them a profit share. Uh, so that went really good,
Yeah.
and crypto was really good. Futures and all, man, like
Love it.
amazing return.
So
So
really, really interesting question. And I think I'm really interested to hear your insights on this. So you get your act together, you start an educational company firm. You're starting to build that. It seems like you're starting other multiple ventures at this point. You get into crypto. From that phase of your life, uh, what are your biggest learning lessons? Like, what do you take away there of getting into building an NFT project? But that phase of your life, tell us what you learned. Tell us what you'd like to tell everyone listening to this, what you learned and what they could do.
from the time I
From
learned
building your
about general,
companies, yeah. So like building your companies in college to finding crypto. That it seems like that time of your life, you learned a lot. You started multiple companies. I would love to hear from your perspective, thoughts that you would like to share of what you learned or things that could help other people out interested in doing similar things.
So, the time when we started, especially early 2018 and stuff, actually putting your, like when I started putting in, not just, being informed and learning from, like I was when I started off in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
It was more, uh, so at that time, it was mainly so I had this passion about crypto. As I told you, it's not something which I saw like in the start as a monetary gain. It was more like a revolution for me. Like
Yeah.
Mm,
this is the next thing, and this is my generation, and I'm part of that. And I wanted to be part of that. Be a pioneer in the space and adoption, and trying to build something new here. And that's what towards, especially towards 2020 and all, very active in trading. And you know I'm not gonna lie that it gave us crazy gains, for all of us, especially for the early guys.
yeah.
Like anything you buy, it made how many 50x, 60x, nothing of the sort which you can do in the regular space. Like it'll take you years if
Yeah.
you want to do it normal,
Yeah.
any kind of returns. It's an so that coupled with what I was doing as a trading consultancy was just propelling me to venture deeper into this. So I had an incentive, financial incentive to dig deeper into this, apart from my own passion to learning more about this. And that spun me, and I got into at one point a big holder in certain projects. Like
Right.
I had plenty of e-chain at one stage. Plenty of e-chain. I used to stake that for getting that. What was it again? VTOR?
Mm-hmm.
VTOR, VAT. Yeah. I stopped staking and stuff after I shifted to cold storage wallets and stuff, but I was very much into staking at one point. I had because that was a trend at one point. It was, I think, 2020. Staking was crazy.
Yeah.
You stake, you earn crazy gains. There was even Hex at one point, which was their scam, but
Right.
still there. Yeah.
And you did a good job again, I think, of describing kind of the process you went through. But like looking back, is there anything that you could say, hey, I would have done this different, or I'm glad I did this? Anything that you could share for people, in that time or are looking and interested in crypto? Any thoughts there?
There was a new tech. I wanted to learn more about it. There was something new in our space. As a person living in that generation, especially in the younger crowd, you should check that out. You might find passion in that. Right now, there's an AI boom. There was robotics boom long back too, but it never gained that much traction unless in the automation side.
Mm-hmm.
But the AI boom was insane. Even now, like ChatGPT, OpenAI, these were things which were going on since the last few years. But the products which is driving this revolutions, so because I'm in this educational sector, I'm able to see the shift in the trend as well. So these are analytics which I can see. I can see that the courses are surging up by a huge margin into these AI, data analytics, all these kind of
Interesting.
stuff. And these are insights which people wouldn't notice. They'll just see the trend unless they go and do it, like survey or forms like that. But because we're running a company of that sort, because we educate, we give guidance to students, we can see the interest going on from regular software stuff, from a regular IT perspective, changing that into a computer. One of the most common and popular courses in the Eastern region right now is computer science, a bachelor's in computer science. But now that was the trend, and now there's something called subspecialization. So there's AI, there's big data, then there is machine learning. That's a separate course subspecialization of its own. So several new ones came up, and I was able to see that, and my word to all new generation children, or the generation after me, or new whatever, is that to see what's actually working out in this generation, and see the trend, observe the trend. The
I
trend
like
is
that.
what is going to give you the actual amount. If you're going to learn something which is 100 years later, your scope will be much less. So because there's lesser working environments for you, you have to artificially create one. You
Yeah.
have to either excel at what you're doing, or be like Einstein, do something new by yourself. But if you're not someone of that caliber, if you just don't want to do that, then you have to observe the trend.
Yeah.
And you can try to build something. It's much more easier because there is like-minded people you'll find on many forums and many other platforms where you will be able to learn and do things. So
I love it. That's great
what I
advice.
want.
That's great advice. Matt, anything to add before we move on?
No, I think it's fast. I mean, listen, like any emerging tech, right? Remember, you used to get a degree in engineering. Now it's what type of engineering, right? It's the same
Right.
thing, right? And it's just going to evolve and keep evolving. uh, and we can have an interesting conversation about AI and how that speeds things up. But at the end of the day, what you're really saying is listen to what's trending and try to catch that wave before it's already past you. And there's a lot of opportunity there. And I think that that's sound advice for anyone to listen
Right.
to. So yeah,
So, so you find crypto, you're making money hand over fist because you're at the right place, that there's a timing issue there. It's like you can't lose. What makes you think going from there to like, now I'm ready to start my own project? Take us through that thought process, and then we can do a deep dive into Astronova and the Deviants, which is about to do a Mint Pass event in 2 days.
So right after that, once I saw that my own ventures were doing good, I had so this is not the only thing I had in food industry as well. I had a couple restaurants which I have ownership as well as shares as well, but none of the main stuff. I'm glossing over those stuff because I'm giving more focus to this trading and as well as the
sure.
education part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they're
Mm,
great. And keep on going. I have to step away to run the bathroom quick.
no worries, no worries.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, towards 2020, that gave me a lot of time to think because a lot of these businesses were, kind of closed because of COVID.
Yeah.
It gave me another window to think a lot
Yeah.
about, uh, retrospecting and thinking over my own choices, whether this was the thing I wanted to do. So it's a high risk because if I want to
Yeah.
do something new, it's an unventured space. I do know that I have the knowledge, but I don't have 50 of me or 60 of me. As in my circle, there was very few people who were knowledgeable about crypto at that stage as
Hmm.
much as I knew. And
Yeah.
it is not and it's very difficult to find these people because most of them are on forums, and in other places and stuff. So I knew Usher, my partner, quite a while back, through my so we have a mutual friend as well who's
Hmm.
a relative, and that's kind of uh, the kind of person I knew that he was also interested in the same degree that I was. And
Mm.
he had an amazing entrepreneurship background as well. Like he has his own. I mean, I don't know if he's gonna chime in, but then you want me to take it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll say this. First of all, I think it's interesting because you mentioned how COVID made you gave you some perspective, and you had to sit back and kind
Right.
of really think about what was going on. I think a lot of people were there, right? And to get honest, I think that that actually might have been one of the big spurs when you think about what was happening with NFTs. I mean, I can say this for sure. I had just sold my equity out of a business that I had started, founded, and run, and I was sitting there, and it happened right as COVID was coming in. And the venture I was thinking about doing was more customer service. Like that's my background, and sales. And I'm thinking, well, geez, everything's closing, and same
Right.
thing, like pause, like, is this what I want to do? Is this what's going on? Mikey and I were talking while we were playing video games about what the heck the world's doing. And he tells me about this thing, NFTs. And what I think is wild is I think a lot of people were sitting there in limbo. A lot of people were sitting there going, what do I want to do?
Absolutely.
And it was crazy because people were working from home. A lot of people had a lot more time suddenly on a computer, and you know the truth of it, right? Not everybody was working. Everybody was sitting there doing the other things, and some of it was just the fact that they had kids to deal with because schools were closed, all of that stuff, right? And it gets people thinking, like, maybe what's a different way to create income or wealth? And you start seeing these success stories and hear about somebody selling a JPEG for $50,000, and it got a lot of attention. And so I think some of this, actually, some of the excitement happened because of that. And it
Right.
sounds like you took that to kind of strike while the iron was hot. Is that what I'm hearing?
Um, my added passion about this industry, along with similar shared interest with my other founder,
Yeah.
I wanted to start something new. Mm, Those COVID gave a lot of time. Only
Hmm.
two of my ventures were operating properly. As I told you, Evergreen, educational one, and the trading one was bad. Like it was, unless I was
Yeah.
short, I wasn't making anything at that time. But the educational one was good. So at that stage, it was not a necessity, not like the previous situation where I am forced to do something or I
Yeah.
cease to exist, nothing like that. But this was more of my own passion-driven one where I thought I want to make something in this.
Yeah.
And that gave me the COVID gave me it's not the hype which drove, it's more the time where I got to process and think that I should do something in this space.
Ooh.
And having a good partner like Usher, he gave me, we were able to set up the base necessities which a project needs. So, uh, like, what are we going to build? Okay, we want to build
Hmm.
in this space. Now what? So that if I mean I do like games, but I'm not much of a gamer like my partner. He's a hardcore Dota player. He plays it ever since he was in school. I think he still plays it. So I'm not that much of a fan like him, but that gave a lot of motivation behind, finding the problem in this industry. This is again a trend. We had to figure out what was actually clicking, what was not. So this industry had a problem that was the games. The games, they weren't good enough.
Yeah.
They were very subpar. The games that were trending at that time was games like Axie. Now, Axie is fine when you think of like the initial games because it's like the OG of games in
Yeah.
Web3. There's no doubt about it. Play and earn, play to earn. That concept it stemmed from there. But what is it a good game? Like, is it fun? Like the ones you play on your PC and PlayStation?
No.
I defer to that first. So I would like to say defer, because I pay respect to whoever built properly in this space. They built something new, man. But, you have to give them the credit for
Sure.
that. So that actually drove us to thinking like, why don't we do something this of this caliber here? So that took us in a huge run of events where we have to actually figure out now because uh, we don't have gaming, like, we don't have experience. We have experience building successful companies, but then and exits in my partner's case, but we don't have experience building gaming companies because this is
Right.
something major. When we say that we want to claim that we want to build a gaming company, people are like, okay, are you guys gamers? Are you guys, game? Do you guys have you guys published something major? And that's a major questions which we will face. We knew that, and to solve that, we wanted to figure out first by ourselves how to actually build this. We talked to a lot of people from a lot of the major industry, like major gaming studios like Blizzard, Activision, Valve, Riot, to figure out how to actually build this thing.
Yeah.
What's best than asking the best experts? We had
Smart.
connects thanks to our, yeah, we had connections and contacts thanks to our previous business ventures,
Hmm.
and as well as we were networking well. But so this gave us a lot of doors were opened, and we were able to salvage that and use that as an opportunity to learn something new. um, and that gave the foundation of how we should be building Astronova. So after we figured out how to do this, then the next question was, okay, we need the right team. We need the right
Yeah.
people. We had an initial team who was interested, same like-minded people. I had my own mini Telegram group where I was. So once I was always interested in building something of this caliber. I mean, I had my own mini trading channel basically.
Yeah.
So that there was a couple users which I knew personally on a personal level who was interested, and they were always keeping things updated. So it started with a company of like around 10 members, and that team is many people we knew on a personal level about their interests. They were passionate about things, and that's the team which grew into this 70 team. I mean, 70 teammate company, which we are seeing right now. So
Did you say 70?
Yeah, 70.
Wow, man. So you built
Yeah.
this from 2 people to 70. Take us through that process a little bit more, because that's damn impressive. One, you've already said, hey, I don't know how to build a gaming company, but I'm going to go to Blizzard, Valve, all the top companies in the world. And I remember us talking about this. This was really interesting to me because
Yeah.
that just seems like an insurmountable task, right?
Right.
Take us through that process. And other than meeting people, like I would love to hear a little more intimate detail from how you get from 2 people to 70.
So one of the major things is first figuring out whether this is possible. We validated that this is possible. Second, we had a worry about our experience, whether this will be fine or not, because as I told you before, we are not gaming people and stuff. I mean, I'm not personally. I'm more blockchain oriented. So what we did was like there are certain instances which motivated us and which gave us the kind of confidence, that we can do this too. For instance, while we were talking to Jin, who's the ex-president of Riot Games, he told us that the founders of Epic, they're not gamers. They don't have gaming experience. We're talking
Interesting.
about the largest
Yeah.
companies here. They don't have that experience. It is just that they were built this. They have that team which have that experience. They have people. Many of these companies and many of these founders, they necessarily don't have it. It's that vision being implemented by the team around them. So after I met Usher, I had other teammates joining in, as I told you about my Telegram group,
Yeah.
where I had it was more of a signal call kind of thing where I used to give no subscription or something. Okay, this was like just my own private.
Right.
Now, like
Yeah.
I'm buying into this, you guys can check it
Yeah,
out.
it
That
was
kind of stuff.
your personal alpha group in essence.
Alpha
Got
group,
it.
right? So that alpha group, I had those initial members. They were my friends and people who I know on a personal level. So that kind of worked out. They came in, they saw the vision. They were already crypto people. I mean, they had their own expertise. Some of them social media marketing, some of them like graphic. So a couple wide very. I wouldn't say we still got the game team yet, but certain useful skills which when we needed to make a company like it might be on the management side, might be on the marketing side, recruitment side, people with these kind of experience. And we all came together. Obviously, it's not the kind of Astronova wasn't this big of a grand thing like it is right now. It was much smaller. It was more like making a Web3 game, which is fun, that kind of an emotive. That grew exponentially over 1 year in our course of figuring out what works, the R&D process, which we like to call it.
Yeah.
We were able to find a lot of like-minded people, gaming veterans. We found the problem with us that was the gaming side, so we went ahead. We made a lot of LOIs and partnerships with indie game studios so that it not only does it open up doors on finding the right talent, it also helps strengthen our portfolio when new teammates are joining us. Like when
Smart.
you have these partnerships. We did that. We had all that happening. A lot of people, they were impressed. We got, for example, one of the early people we got was Nikhil Malankar. He's one of the leading game developers in India. He has his own game studio, Gameon. It's one of the few studios in India which actually developed a AAA game. They got a grant from Epic, mega grant. We're in very good ties with Epic, basically. Epic India and his studio is like really on good levels. And so he came in. He's the CEO of his company, but then he came in as our lead game developer. Similarly, we got some other teammates like Ihor. He's from Gameloft to make up our game design document. And many other teammates joined us with the gaming experience, the vast gaming uh, uh, background, and that clubbed with other blockchain specialists and people which came on the side. And I forgot to mention the advisors played a big role in this game too, because they navigated us through the right to the right people as well. So we were fortunate enough to find a few really cool advisors.
Yeah.
Connected us with the right people as well. And slowly that became like around a 35 team company, I think by 2022 sometime. And I mean, then, the first 10 to 35 was the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that. Why?
The first 10 to 35, or the first people, especially the handpicked now, because those are the guys who are going to be like the foundation,
Yeah.
They're gonna lay out like this is how things are, the values, the missions. They know it better than maybe the 70th teammate or the 69 teammate which we
Right.
have now.
Right.
Because they've been the longest with us. They resonate with the vision, the core values, and what we're trying to build.
Yeah.
They've been through the ups and downs,
Yep.
before we were. I mean, we were a bootstrap project basically till last year September. So it was me and Usher basically funding this project, and it was a bit worrisome for us as well, because this was going on, and at the right time when everything, like, it was planned that we were going on with the proper runway and stuff, but at the right time our partnership with Hedera went through, and we got into that amazing partnership with them, which further accelerated our visions. And it was, I would say, we were we had the right team and right people, but apart from that, I would say we were pretty fortunate too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not possible without that, for sure, because I've seen other projects as well. Same time we started together, they weren't they died off. Like, they raised money though. They had a fancy pitch deck website, and they died off.
And that's the
It was just
$1 million question: is why did they die off and you didn't? Was it the right funding? Was it the right board? Was it the right vision? Or was it a combination of all of those? Love to hear your insight.
This has to do with a lot of factors. One primary one would be budgeting, knowing what's important, knowing because most of these projects, they do it in this haphazard way where there's no kind of runway they give. They think they'll close funding in like months maybe, or something like that. When we started, we were prepared that this is going to be a lifelong commitment, and I can't do another like, this is my main business right now, like, it's full time.
Yeah.
I cannot do other businesses for my other ventures, my partners are handling right now. This is my main focus, and that kind of dedication to this, first of all. Secondly, the right runway. We have to make sure that we have a long runway. Otherwise, it's not gonna last long. We have to be prepared for the worst case scenarios always. We were always prepared, and I guess that really helped, especially in these kind of markets. And then a certain value, I guess. It's some of them were more focused on just raising money without a clear idea, like what these funds are going to go for.
Mm,
Recently, there was a project which raised some 5 million, I guess, and it was like 1 million. He spent 500K for that for the project. He raised it through NFTs and stuff. Rest was all going through the team. 2 million, 1 million for him, and 1 million for some cost, and done. It's done. That's it. The amount is gone, and they there was no proper allocation of funds for the development of that actual product. Apart from this stems back to the legitimacy thing again. It's just
Yeah.
for them, it's just a money making avenue. I raise the funds and now I leave.
yeah.
I don't want to deliver any result.
Yeah.
I love that. And so that runway then gave you the time to continue to foster relationships, and then boom, the Hedera thing happens, right? And now you have massive partnerships and you're able to continue going. Anything else off the top of your mind? Or Maddie, go ahead.
Um,
Yeah.
can I
Go ahead.
can I give
Go ahead.
1 second? I'll just charge. I think it's gonna die otherwise.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Give
Yeah.
me a
Do that.
second. Yeah.
What were you gonna ask, Maddie?
Yeah. What I want to share is again going back to budgeting. I think it's fascinating because um, we talked earlier about how when DG lost the funding from his parents at school, he was
Yeah.
forced to learn how to create a business with very little equity and funding,
Right.
right? And what I think is interesting is what I'm hearing is that a lot of these projects were founded by people who didn't have that background
Right.
mentality.
Right.
So what happened is suddenly they got a bunch of money, whether it be through NFTs or whatever. Uh, the problem is again, like I said, you're not wealthy because of your bank account. You're wealthy because of the way you think and your mentality.
Right.
And it sounds like the fact that once you learn how to build something from nothing, then when you have funds, you know how to keep things lean
Right.
because you understand the value of what each dollar means, and it's hard. It's hard to produce.
Yeah.
And so I just think that's a very interesting thing because I know some very successful business owners, and you'd be shocked at how wealthy they are because you look at their business and on the front facing end of it, you're thinking, do they really do a lot? But they understand how to manage their expenses so well and keep things lean that they're extremely profitable.
Yeah.
And that's the difference, right? If you ask your average person, if the person who spends $10 million to make 10 million and 10.1 million has only made $100,000 at the end of the year,
Right.
but they're playing with a lot of money, right?
Right.
Would you rather be that person or the person that makes 500,000 but only spent 100,000 doing it?
Yep.
That person just profited $400,000 a year. And it's like we have this backwards mentality. A lot of people would rather be the person with 10 million that only makes 100,000 than the
Right.
person that's half a million that makes
Yeah.
400,000.
Yeah.
And I just think that's interesting. And so what I was saying, DG, I don't know if you heard all of that or most of it, but I was curious: is do you think that some of the fact that you learned because you had your money cut off and you learned how to build lean, do you think that's also maybe another lesson that really paid a dividend here when you got the money to build this?
Most definitely, one way or the other, because budgeting plays a big role in
Huge.
how long your company can last. So it's not the investor mentality is not. They like projects which have runway, a lot of runway.
Hmm.
If you don't have that, then you're basically desperate for their money.
Yeah.
Hmm.
They like projects which don't need their money. They invest in
Yeah.
those. The ones which are more, needy. I'm not gonna survive. I don't have one. I only have 1 more month of left. I can't cover my costs. I have to cease game development. that kind of mentality will just ruin their,
Yeah.
their
Yeah,
appetite.
I love
absolutely.
that, man.
So
This is such cool insight and so interesting to even just the underlying message of you didn't know shit about making a game, but now you have a 70-person company. You've had a long runway and you're about to release your first NFTs. So I'd love to hear kind of talk to us the dynamic. It seems like Astronova is the overarching umbrella gaming company, and we've got the Deviants NFT drop coming up. Can you talk about Astronova as the umbrella, the relationship, and now let's get into the game. Why is Deviants the first NFT drop, and let's get into the nuances of that.
right. So Astronova is building a true meta RPG. So what that means by that is it's an MMORPG with Web3 elements. So I don't want to say anything like play to earn game, play and earn game. These are all terminologies which are hated by the Web2 users,
Yes.
hardcore gamers.
Yes.
Uh, so when we build a product for us, especially as an entrepreneur, for me, this is ultimately a product
Hmm.
which I want to build successful in a market, and realizing what is a good fit for this. How actually display this product is also very important. So that is the reason why we omit all these jargons which is hated right now. You notice major companies like Starbucks and Polygon, they're seeping slowly. They're not saying NFTs. They're saying, digital collectibles,
Yeah.
and the subtle way of seeping into the market without making
Hmm.
an explicit. Because right now, if you already, as we already know, this industry still has that there are a lot of good projects, definitely, but there is a lot of scams and
Yep.
fraudulent activities going on as well.
Yep.
Sure.
So to take the benefit of this tech, at the same time presenting it to an average crowd who knows nothing, like zero knowledge about crypto, you have to make it look in a really cool way with omitting that public image where crypto is a scam. So if you take those things out, make it look like this is a regular game, then it's it's a masterpiece, because they'll play it, they'll try
Yes.
it just
Yeah,
like
I
another
love
product.
how you just said that. It's
dude.
a masterpiece.
Yes, and that is such a great point you just said because words matter. Mikey's background in marketing and branding, it's so massive. And by the way, this is in everything, right? Whether it's a political campaign, right?
Right,
Whether you're trying to sell a soda, whether it's a Super Bowl ad, whether it's for a life-saving medicine, you have to know that the words you choose, you're right, it affects a market. It doesn't matter what's real or what truth is. It matters how it's perceived. And so this is why if I say, "Ooh, such and such is a pyramid scheme," we all, "Ooh, that's bad," right? But if I say, "Ooh, we build teams and empower people," people are like, "Ooh, tell me more."
Right.
Two same
right,
things, you know what I mean? Like if you did real estate as a background, the fundamental concept of real estate is developing a team of realtors under you, right?
right,
And if we were to draw that on a piece of paper, what would it look like, right? But nobody says, "Hey, I want to build my real estate pyramid scheme," because that doesn't sell, right?
Right.
And so it's just an interesting how our brain, and I think it's brilliant because what you're doing is you're saying, why am I going to fight this? Because you're right. And even sometimes I find myself doing this. I find myself so tempted to try to change perceptions about what NFTs are that I keep wanting to use NFT. And it's like I want to tell people, no, but stop thinking that. Rather than, wait a second, if I use digital collectible, once they own it, it's funny how people are like, suddenly it's cool. You know what I mean? And then
right.
if after
Yeah,
they own it, you're like, by the way, this is a non-fungible token, they're kind of like, ooh, okay, maybe those aren't so bad, right? And I think that's a really cool way of moving people forward in the space because it's smart, it's smart business. And so
Yeah.
yeah, I commend you for that. I think
I
that's
love it.
really, really smart.
So
great.
you're determining that we're making an MMORPG. We want to make the game great, but we're going to add NFT technology into it. So take us through what the Deviants is, or let's just maybe start with sharing us your vision for the game, and then why Deviants NFT and why should I be interested?
Right. As I said, this is a meta RPG with Web3 elements. It's an open world, where it it has a game lore as wide as uh, World of Warcraft. It has its own uh, set of huge, well-crafted lore. The kind of games that people play, like World of Warcraft. The dynamics, the quality. These are all secondary aspects, especially for an MMORPG. It's fine. It's primarily the lore. This is coming from the top. This alpha for MMORPG. We got the same thing when we talked to people from Blizzard, Epic, and stuff. So that's why this was there on the top of the list. First, we are like, we want to make MMO. Get your storyboard team, get your creative team sorted. Otherwise, we can't build this thing. Then comes the remaining aspects. I think Razo here wants to chime in. This is his favorite part.
Yeah,
about
I
the
was
game.
about to say
absolutely.
he's the gamer. I want to hear
Bring
his
that
take.
gamer in. I want to hear it.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we
Right.
can.
Okay, great. Okay, so regarding the vision we had, so what we want to do is we want to build a true high fidelity MMORPG with Web3 features. Now, I'm not sure if you guys are aware. Have you guys heard of the story of Vitalik? The guy who founded Ethereum. How he actually went about that because of his frustration um, uh, when World of Warcraft nerfed one of his favorite characters. Have you guys heard the story?
I haven't actually
I have
heard the
not. I
story.
would like to hear it.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so basically he had this character who he leveled up over the years with a lot of powers and skills and stuff like that. It was a mage, I believe, and at one point of time, the company decided that they had to nerf that character, and he got very angry and he got very disappointed because he worked very hard on that character, and they just decided that they could nerf it, right?
Yep.
And he thought this shouldn't happen. And that is basically the foundation of Ethereum. Basically, uh, such large companies have too much power and they should be decentralized. So now I've been playing Dota since I was in school, and I still play Dota whenever I can. And you guys know Dota too, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So it's like League of Legends, only cooler.
We're
I'm just-
we're streaming on Twitch and YouTube, by the way. So we're streaming on a gaming
Oh.
platform, just so you know.
Yep. Yep.
Okay,
But we know
okay.
about the Dota.
Okay, so now now I've been part of the community. I love the community. I share their frustrations and happiness and everything when all the live events happen. I watch all that, and I love being part of such a community, a gaming
Right.
community. And I always thought that if at any point of time Valve decides to step back and hand over the game to the community, I believe the community can actually run the game properly.
Ooh, I
Right.
like this.
So that's yeah. So I believe that Dota community is a mature community. If given the opportunity, they can form a structure and run this organization in a very decentralized manner.
Right.
So this is where I believe gaming should get. Gaming should reach, right?
Mhm.
This is where I believe this is what I believe game should aspire to. So Astronova is basically from such a it's formed from such an idea, basically, that we want to develop a game that can last for a long time. I mean, players can play and it'll keep evolving and it'll keep upgrading and maybe it'll outlast all of us, you know, and the community takes it forward and it goes where the community wants it to go.
Okay.
That's basically what we're trying to do. Now, it's kind of lofty, it's kind of ambitious. Maybe the technology is not there yet. Maybe people are not ready for it. I don't know, but we're going to try doing this. We're going to attempt this. And who knows, maybe in 10 years we might get there. Right. So this is a long-term goal.
Right.
Sure.
There's nothing short-term about this. And me and Faizi, when we talked, we had long, hard discussions about this as well. This is not a quick exit program. This is not anything remotely similar to that. So what we are attempting is we're planning to build an MMORPG. So if you look at every other successful MMORPG series like Final Fantasy or World of Warcraft, they didn't directly just jump into MMORPG. They introduced their community to the world through RPG games and then gradually progressed to MMORPG. So we're doing something similar to that. So in 2 years or so, we will have a proper RPG launch where we allow our community to get connected with the lore and with the characters in a deeper manner. And then we go to another season where there's a lot more multiplayer elements to it. And then finally, we introduce the open world MMORPG setting. So it's like 2 to 5, 6 years plan. You know,
I love
that's
this.
already there.
I love this. There's very rare people that have this long-term plan. So take us till, and I love this
Hold
already.
on.
You're saying 2 years down the road. Maddie, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, a couple quick questions on what's been said though. Because Mikey's going to take us further and through, but when you talk about a decentralized system here, how do you there's going to be something to kind of, how do you handle balancing and the decentralization? And what I
Ooh.
mean by balancing is, you know, your story was about he had his character nerfed. But that doesn't happen in a vacuum, right? Characters aren't nerfed just because they randomly decided that character just needs to be nerfed, right? They're nerfed because typically there's some exploit or something that somebody who has way more time than we have has found, and that character or that build or that armor set or whatever it is, that combo of things is too powered, is too overpowered, and then it makes the game not fun, right? Because then everybody just goes after that character with that set, and that doesn't make it diverse, right? You want people to feel like the game is fair. Do you see any issues with not having a centralized control with balancing a game?
Yeah, that's a very good question, actually. For now, I think, at least I'd like to think that Vitalik's problem was not the fact that character got nerfed. Vitalik's problem was that it was done in a centralized manner. That he worked very hard on something, and all of a sudden, there was one entity who gets to decide that his hard work is worth nothing, right?
Oh,
I
Now,
absolutely.
so that is the crux of the problem for him, at least, or at least that's what I'd like to think. You know?
Right.
Because I think he's amazing. So
So
he
how are
found
you
this
going to solve that problem then?
Okay, so for us, from my point of view, I actually had a very interesting discussion with an early investor or an early supporter of our project. He's a doctor. He works with a government affiliated program in some small villages in India. Basically, what they do is they educate people about, I mean, this was at the height of COVID, right? So they educate people and they give them, you know, testing kits and treat them on when they get sick, and, you know, in remote, it's like a community kind of thing. And he's more of a social organizer kind of guy.
Right.
So when we were talking, he is also interested in NFTs and crypto and everything. So we got to talking. And at that point of time, he told me that there's something that frustrated him in his day job. It was that the members of his social organization who knew nothing about medical, uh, who had no medical experience, who had uh, zero idea about how medicines work, how medical programs work, or anything of that sort, they have an equal say in how things are run. And he was telling me, decentralization has this problem where everybody gets a vote, regardless of how experienced they are, or how committed they are, or how
Yeah,
skilled they are, right?
Right.
So this is a
Right.
for sure.
problem with decentralization. So when you go into such a plan, people who have no idea about how the game works or what it should do will have the same vote as somebody who has, a lot of idea. So,
Right.
Yeah.
so this is basically a problem with democracy itself inherently,
I was
right?
about to say this is also the problem with just democracy in general.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. But so my argument is, uh, but isn't that a better thing? That, I mean, it's not perfect, but isn't it better than the alternative? That is, somebody decides everything for you, and if they are good, well, great. If they are not good, at the end of the day, you have no choice.
Yeah.
Right. So,
True.
so when it comes to gaming, the idea what we plan to do is we plan to start in a very community. I mean, Web3, according to me, is about community.
Yeah.
A community should be involved. You should build a strong community who should have a foundation in how things are run and everything. And we want to build and empower the community in a gradual manner to participate in the lore creation, in how the lore develops. We plan to have contests about it. We plan to have events surrounding this whole process, and gradually empower the community to form a structure which we think is ideal. Okay, on how basically form a DAO,
Right.
in a very unique
Sure.
way, and it is not going to be a simple process. It's going to take a lot of time, a lot of
Sure.
effort. It's going to have its ups and downs, but I believe that by the time we get our games out, within the next 2, 3, 5 years, this would be empowered enough, this organization would be empowered enough to actually start making some decisions and gradually uh, allow it to get more and more power
Right.
as it progresses. It should be a controlled manner. It should be a,
Sure.
a
Right.
proper, and through this process, you can identify members of the community who are good enough, and we should have checks. Basically, it's like forming a government.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly
the
that.
same thing. So and it should be slow and steady, and it should have checks and balances in place. But I believe if you get there, once you finally get there, uh, the game would be refreshing at all times because new people join in, new ideas come in, and there are things which we might not be able to think of, which can happen at that point of time, and
Right.
that I think will be amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I love your explanation there. So I'm assuming this is a great way to go on to the next part is so your introduction into finding the people and starting to build this lore in a co-created space, which is the very unique part about Web3 and having a community, is this Deviants NFT. If you own this, this is going to start building the ecosystem of the community that's going to help you build these products in the future. Is that correct? Anything you want to add on to that?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the deviants are one of the main ways of entry into a community. There are going to be other ways as well, but the deviants are going to be the main ones, and we'll always have a special place for deviant owners because basically these are the first foundations of our community, and we plan to keep them at a certain, you know, OG level. So we hope that they will help us. They will be part of us. They will help us. They'll help contribute to what we are planning to do, and they're true believers. That's what we do.
I love it. Maddie, keep it going. I got to step away quick.
Yeah. So, and I want to actually, because I wanted to go back, Mike moved it on, but what you were talking about, the concept of basically forming a government, I think is really interesting because Mike and I are big gamers, big MMO gamers, and one thing I can absolutely relate to everything you were saying. I think there might be something that's in the middle ground, right? You don't necessarily
Yeah,
want some like dictator at the top or
exactly.
authoritarian dictator, whatever it might be, that makes these decisions. But you don't necessarily want a free democracy because, like you said, your friend who's the doctor said you get people who really don't have skin in the game getting a vote. My I think it's
Exactly.
interesting that a the concept of electing representatives that are supposed to be knowledgeable people in their craft to represent the populace is fascinating to me because I always thought, for example, I agree with you. The idea that either Bethesda with Elder Scrolls or Blizzard with World of Warcraft or who pick your, the fact that they can arbitrarily just send a patch down and all of a sudden everything changes is frustrating. What would be
Yes,
interesting is,
exactly.
and just to use a simple example, like if I took the top 10 streamers in World of Warcraft, these are people who like basically are professional gamers. It's all they do. They
Yeah.
live and breathe World of Warcraft. If I knew that
y-
those 10 people were the ones that were pushing what Blizzard should be doing, I'd have a lot more faith in it. Just like your doctor would have a lot more faith if rather than it being just anybody gets a vote, if it was a team of medical doctors who all had credentials, it'd be easier to have a lot more faith in that. And one thing I think as you go through this process, maybe something to think about is almost creating a board or a an electorate or something of people, and that could be where this initial drop of the deviants can maybe come into play, where it's like you find some essentially people with skin in the game who've been there since the beginning, who understand what's going on. They're probably going to have a better version, to what you were saying, DG, just like finding those first five people in the group, right? These are your foundational crew members. Well, that's what I'm hearing that Deviants is, right? These are your foundational, essentially, consumers of your product. Maybe that could be something that works into this. And what's beautiful about Web3 is, of course, you got blockchain, and it makes all of that very easy. So just a thought.
Yeah.
Right.
What are your thoughts on
That
that?
that's basically our idea. I mean, from the deviants, those who buy into the deviants are basically the guys who actually believe in this, or that's what we like to think. At least a
Yeah,
good portion of that would be people who actually believe in us and who actually want to see where we go. And we want to engage with them. We want to discuss with them. We want to get more out of them, and we want them to
yeah,
participate more, and we plan to reward them more too for that particular factor. So the system is designed in such a way that our game is going to be free to play. Anybody can play. You don't need to own NFT tokens or anything of that sort. Just like how you play Dota, you just install it, you play. That's it. And it's
got
not
it.
going to be that some guy who has a lot of money is going to, I mean, in an MMORPG game, it's not like it's not a pay to win kind of scenario. Um,
Yeah.
uh,
And
it's
what are you
going to
doing
be the
specifically to keep it from that?
okay. So our revenue is not designed around anything of that sort. We are very particular about how we make revenue and everything in the future. Our
Okay,
idea is our primary revenue would come from not from crypto or NFTs or anything of that sort. Of course, we will have some revenue from NFTs as well, but our primary
sure.
revenue is designed around Battle Pass subscriptions, basically. So
Got it.
true OGs, they play the game, they like it. Those who want to support us, they support us. And hello?
We lost DG there.
Oh, okay. All
But
right. I
that's
think his
okay.
phone
Keep on
lost.
going.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, that's basically us. We had a very good game economy designer. A game economy guy from Amazon Studios. This guy was part of some. I mean, he's a senior game economist from who was part of a lot of major games like Call of Duty, a lot of games. He has a very impressive portfolio, and we hired him. He was not very familiar with crypto games, but we didn't want advice for crypto game. We wanted advice for a true free-to-play game, and he helped us work on a true, a proper game economy that is kind of missing in the space, in the Web3 space. Most of them are based, most of the Web3 games, I mean, 99% of the Web3 games, everything depends on whether the token prices stay up, whether
Yeah, I
the
was to
flow
say the
prices of the
token
NFT
price.
stays up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are kind of, we don't have, we're not reliant on those aspects. We're reliant on our community actually buying in and supporting us through the whole process. So
Okay.
this is our model. This is how we plan to make money out of it. This is how we plan to make the company profitable. If we don't manage to get good people to buy in, then we fail. So our effort is going to ensure going to be to ensure that our community remains loyal, remains well. I mean, invested and with their time and with their efforts and also with their money, so that we can actually get to where we want to get. So gamers are very unique. I mean, from my experience at least, they're not afraid of spending money. They're not, they're not the kind of people who are like, who will only try the free thing, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, Dota is a free game. Over the years, I must have spent thousands of dollars on it. And I know a lot of people like me. We don't have to pay. We can just play the game, and it's amazing. It's on its own. There's nothing, there's no, it's not a pay to win, and it's still awesome. But but I still participate in the battle pass because I love doing that. I love being part of the community. I love every year they come up with some new stuff. And inherently, I love the fact that in Dota, the Battle Pass money is basically the part of that is basically funding the international prize pool. So in a way, we are basically funding the largest esports tournament or something of that sort. So this, I love being part of that, and that's why I spend the money. And I believe a lot of gamers are that way. We're not very conservative. Especially if we love the game, we're gonna give it our all. We're gonna give it our time. We're gonna give it our
we'll spend.
yeah.
We'll spend our money.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, and that's been seen time and time with everything. By the way, World of Warcraft, FIFA, the Call of Duty. People who love the game will spend money on it for sure. Real quick update, Mikey. We lost EG. I don't know if it was on purpose or connection. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But we do need to rearrange videos because I am not Abyssal.
Okay. Well,
you are not
let's do this for I think he can take us home, right? I mean, we're doing an amazing job getting details on the game.
Sure. I can continue.
Okay. All right. So we'll keep going, but Mike's gonna rearrange that, and so sorry for those watching. Even during the time there where he was popping in and out on camera, it was moving our screens around. So that's why that was moving all around.
Yeah.
Okay. So then here's the $64,000 question. You said you said a couple things here. You want to try to build loyal followers that are gamers. You already have a 2-year basically game plan to get out to the initial launch of a game. People who buy into Deviants, we have this is coming up just a couple days to do that. My question is this, and again, this is kind of the obvious question I think anybody would have, is in this space, people are so used to minting something and getting something instantly. It's a very instantaneous culture, right? And we see that in gaming too. Once a game is established, I mean, look what happens remember what happens when they announced the delay to Cyberpunk and people just flipped out. So basically they were like, fine, here it is. And of course it was full of bugs, right? And it's like people can't be happy with anything. So it's a tough crowd is what I'm saying. How do you plan with this to keep that crowd interested through this long scale time frame? Because I agree with Mikey. I'm excited you have this long-term vision and that you see what's going on and you have this runway available when it comes to budget and funding. I like that, but what about the consumer themselves? What's your plan to handle that and keep them along for a 2-year ride?
All right. So there are several aspects to this. first, so we're launching our Deviants right now. Okay. These are 3D animated VFX enabled characters, right? Now,
Okay.
uh, as far as the development of this goes, we started like 2021 November or so, and we've been building the Deviants out since. We had a team of artists, developers, etc., working on this all this while, and we've built a lot of stuff on the Deviants. The Deviants are not going to stop working. I mean, after the mint, the story is not over. We have a lot of things happening throughout the years, throughout these 2 years when the game is being developed. We have some comic book launches. We have some mini games planned. We have some upgrades to these assets. We have some animation upgrades, some VFX effects upgrades. So we know that all this takes time. So even at the right from the beginning, when we plan to do this, we made out a roadmap that if we're gonna launch an NFT collection, uh, uh, like so far, I mean, so early before the game actually launches, we need to have something that keeps the community going. So we have a whole community plan sorted out in our roadmap. We have an idea how we want it to progress. Every month, something important is going to happen. At least something important. At least one thing important. There's going to be a lot of stuff, community events happening out. We're going to be dropping some very important lore aspects. We have a codex launch. We have a battle pass launch. We have some very cool events. We have a comic book drop. We have some upgrades to the existing NFTs. We have an evolutionary story. Basically, it evolves from the ETH chain to the Hedera chain. It's everything happens in a very cool lore-oriented manner, because everything, if there's no purpose, nothing happens with the Deviants if it is not explained by the lore, if it's not explained by the story. So
Sure.
we worked on all this aspect a long time before this launch is scheduled. So it's not an afterthought. It's
Sure.
not like a lot of NFT projects, they launch it. If it's successful, then they have a roadmap and they have certain things planned and outlined. We've already outlined and planned whatever is going to happen over the next 2 years when we're building this game. Because as I said, community is basically the most important aspect of Web3. And we know that, especially for a game like ours, we know that community building is going to be very, very important, and we need our community engaged. We need our community invested, and we need our community entertained.
I love it.
Okay.
So this process was there. I mean, we had this foresight from the beginning that this is what we're going to do, and we knew that if we're going to launch an NFT collection 2 years earlier than when the game is going to come out, there needs to be something that keeps the community plugged in, right? And it's not
Okay.
just the floor prices or the crypto. There needs to be a reason. There needs to be a solid reason why someone would tune in and participate. So we're going to have a lot of stuff happening over the next 2 years to facilitate
Sure.
this.
I'm going to tweak the question just a little bit because I loved your answer. That
Yeah.
explains what you're going to do with the existing community, right? But what you tend
Yep.
to see
Yep.
is a launch like
Hmm.
this, and I'm just going to throw basic numbers. It has nothing to do with your launch, but let's just say
Yes.
for an analogy purpose, if
Sure.
something launches and there's 5,000 people in the community, all the
Hmm.
things you're describing are ways to keep that 5,000 as whole as possible, right? You try to have as few
Yes.
people leave as possible. But to
Yes.
launch an MMO, a successful MMO game, RPG,
Yes.
you're
Yes.
going to need more than 5,000. So,
Yes.
and again, I know that those have nothing to do with your numbers, but like the goal is to grow. Do you have a
Yes.
plan to not just only entertain, hold, and stimulate the people who are already part of your community, but to also grow the community and build excitement towards the game
Great
itself?
question.
Now, so the Deviants are the start. Deviants are the
Uh-huh.
entryway. Deviants are a first thing.
Yep.
As I said, there is going to be a specific comic book, webcomic, and manga series that are going to launch. And webcomic audience is a completely different audience from the Web3 audience.
Okay.
I mean, it's a totally different space itself. So we have we have some very cool people working with us on this. For instance, our lead artist, she's from Japan. Her name is Inko. She is a veteran when it comes to manga art. She has been there for a lot of manga comics so far. My Faizi is an avid reader since he was 8 years old. He's been part of a lot of manga comics, and he keeps telling me about this. I've never actually read manga till I actually met him, and he's the one who introduced me to some cool titles. All I've read was Batman, Superman, and all the Western classics.
Right.
Yeah,
Classics.
yeah.
Got
So, but this audience is huge. This is a huge market, and we recently we were talking to an advisor on the comic book side, and he has over 1 million manga readers on his network. On his alpha group. Yeah, 1 million plus.
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
And yeah, and he was giving us insights on what are the successful things according to him, what should be there in a comic,
Right.
to make it interesting for that community. So similar to this, we have several programs that are tuned in to grow our audience beyond just the NFT. This thing, to bring them onto our lore, bring them onto Astronova and the Deviants community, and we have plans on keeping them, allowing them to participate, because that's very important. Participation is kind of very important right now, and this is something we plan to do. We have mini games for the Deviants that are supposed to launch within the next 1 year. This is something in our mind, what we plan to do is something along the lines of Clash of Clans kind of type of game. So something that works on mobile or something of the sort. So there are several aspects that happen in between this whole space that we have plans for. They're on different verticals, whether it's a mini game, whether it's a comic book, whether it's the graphic novel, which we plan to launch, whether it's the the upgrades to the NFT collections, or the new NFT collections, which we plan to launch over the course of the next 2 years. Eventually, one major thing that's going to happen is we're going to have, before the game launches, we're going to have a drop of 100 Sentinel NFTs. These are basically these are going to be the foundations of our DAO, which we plan to bring in, and these are limited, only 100 NFTs who have some special roles in the DAO and in everything which we're trying to create. We plan to select leaders from the community itself to join us for this, and it's going to be a fun process. So as I was saying, from beyond the 5,000 who might buy in on the Deviants, we have plans to grow beyond, using the different verticals. Some of them are not related to Web3 at all. But we're already in talks with a few people on how to do this most efficiently, to grow the community in a very efficient manner. And we want to do justice to everybody who joins us. So we're going to ensure that, to the best of our ability, we're going to ensure that they stay motivated. That's the idea.
And that's an awesome answer. And in addition to the comic book, you're going to be updating the NFT, and you're going to be building the lore story arc. You're going to turn it into 3D character development. It looks like you have some actual mint pass events. So you have thought about how do we keep the community engaged, which is awesome.
Yes.
I think the last kind of question before we kind of wind this down for me, and then Maddie, you can ask anything else, is can we consider the Deviants NFT drop and pass kind of like the gold standard NFT to hold? Like, will it give you free airdrops? Will it give you access to first in line to future things that come?
Yes. Short answer is yes. We don't want to do it, we don't want deviance to be something like a gatekeeping mechanism. So it's not going to be something that if you don't own a deviant, you're not going to enjoy
Love it.
Astronova. We don't want that. But at the same time, we will have some very unique plans to reward the deviant holders, because these guys are the first people to invest in us, outside of me and Faizi. So, and the guys who are giving us grants. So, so these people, they really believe in us, whether it's for their own interests or whether it's for something else or whether it's for everything together. At the end of the day, they invested in us, and we want to ensure that they get long-term value if they decide to stick with us. And we have certain plans where deviants do get some special perks and rewards, early access to beta game, certain very unique stuff. But at the same time, we are also mindful of the fact that there are just 10,000, and that does not mean that Astronova is going to be a community of 10,000.
Right.
It needs to grow beyond that, and we don't want to gatekeep. You need to own this in order to experience Astronova. No, we don't want that to be there either. So we're going to have different methods for those who don't have a deviant or those who cannot basically get hold of a deviant to enjoy Astronova as well.
Yeah.
At the same time, we are going to deviants, holders of deviants are going to have a special place in the Astronova ecosystem.
Oh, I love that explanation. I think that's the right move. Back to what Matt said. If you only have 10,000 NFTs and it's your only way in, then you're in trouble if you want to build a millions of people to play your MMO. Maddie, any questions before we kind of wind this down?
No questions. I mean, I will say this: it's ambitious, right? I mean, you've already said a lot of things you want to do, but based on what you're trying to accomplish, it kind of has to be. And so, I like that it's things you're thinking about. And I think what I want to boil it down to is one of the things you said early is you recognize that you have to get people in the ecosystem. You used Final Fantasy and Warcraft as an example, right? These games existed before their MMOs. And it made people fall in love with characters, with the lore, with the whole mythology of it, right? And Mike and I were big Elder Scrolls players. Same thing, man. Elder Scrolls has been out for a long time. I mean, Skyrim's one of the most popular games that's ever happened.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes. One of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people know what to expect when they play an Elder Scrolls game. So when Elder Scrolls Online came out, it wasn't a big stretch for people to say, finally, right? And so I get what you're saying, and what I like is by creating the stories, the comics, the manga, the NFTs, the mobile games, the mini games, you're essentially creating that same deal where people when the game launches, they're going to have a familiarity and a passion and excitement the same way Mike and I just got excited to watch the Diablo 4 trailer. You know what I mean? The lore's there.
Exactly.
It's taken forever to come out like every Blizzard game, but yet I'm here excited because they've established. And I think that's kind of, it sounds like that's what you're going for.
Exactly. I mean, I when I was in school, I believe I played Warcraft 3, and I don't know, it was one of the most I mean, it was a life-changing game for me.
Sure.
I
Absolutely.
loved the lore. I loved Medivh. I loved the characters, Thrall and all of those guys. So the point is, it was such a fascinating way to tell a story. And I loved games which can tell a story in a very interesting way. And that is something that we at Astronova are trying to achieve, because we want people to play the game to basically it's a storytelling mechanism, right? You have audibles, you have book, you can read a book, you can listen to it, you can also play the story, so that's basically what we are trying to achieve here as well. And we pay a lot of attention to this. We want the story to be brilliant, and we don't want it to be limited in scope. So we have a vast universe, we have a lot of characters, we have a lot of heroes, and we want our players to fall and our community to fall in love with these characters. The same way I fell in love with all those characters playing Warcraft 3. So
Fantastic.
that's basically the idea behind
I love it.
all this.
And so, Razzle, you were listening in the entire time from the beginning,
Yeah.
even though you weren't saying anything, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was listening in.
Okay, cool.
Perfect.
So, last thing before we have a couple questions that we ask at the end. It's a little different just because I just talked to DG. He has to hop to another AMA actually, so he's not going to come back on. But we can close it out together here. Last, I just want to give you a chance to say, hey, you've talked a lot, tons of things, but very concise. Give me 1-2 minutes max. What can we expect if I mint this Deviant Pass in the next 2 days? What can we expect over the next 6 months? And tell everybody what they can enjoy.
Okay, so if you participate in the Deviant Mint Pass event, you get to mint a Deviant for free. If you own 5 mint passes, you get to own 5 Deviants for free on the mint date of the Deviants. The Deviants are evolving 3D animated characters. They have VFX effects on the Deviant itself, so you're going to have some cool effects on them like thunder, lightning, all those kind of stuff. They have an evolution planned. So if you own the Deviant, in a couple of months, you get a crystal that is going to evolve your Deviant into a Hedera. So Deviants are on the ETH chain. You're going to get an evolution crystal, which basically allows you to mint a free Hedera Deviant as well. This Deviant is going to have slight changes on the characteristics that are going to be pretty cool. That's what we believe in. Now these Hedera NFTs, they are going to be playable inside the game and in the mini game as well, which we have planned. And the lore of the Deviants are going to drop. We're going to have certain comic releases about the backstories of the Deviants, how they came into play and all that. The Deviants hold a very important part in the Astronova ecosystem. They're not the main playable characters, but they have some very unique story behind it, and they are very important in Astronova. As you guys get to know more, you'll understand. They play a very important role. Basically, I don't want to reveal too much because my creative director will kill me. Anyway, this is what for the next 6 months. You get to own the Deviant, the OG Deviant on the ETH chain. It will evolve into a Hedera Deviant later on. And there are going to be mechanisms where you can upgrade certain skills of the Deviants. For instance, if your Deviant has a unique animation, there's going to be a platform. We're going to be building a platform where you can stake these Deviants and the animation can evolve into a new type of animation, which is going to be custom just for those who actually complete that process. So this is basically what you can expect from the Deviants alone. One more thing. You would get free access to the comics, Deviants comics.
Awesome. So you have a ton planned, which is awesome. And I think the last thing to say is between an NFT being on the ETH blockchain and buying an OpenSea, and you keep on mentioning Hedera, can you just talk about the specifics between the two so people understand what you mean?
Okay, that's very important, probably. Hedera, we believe, is the future of the blockchain. It's not really blockchain technology. It's a little more advanced to that. They call it the gossip to gossip protocol or something like that. Basically, it's a faster, more secure, and more predictable chain, right? So it's not going to be like if you have 1 million people trying to mint an NFT at the same time, it's going to have a very high gas fee, like how it is in ETH or any other chain. This is going to be predictable in the sense that the gas fee is going to be, you can predict it
Right.
at any point of time, how much it's going to be. And it's very low. And it's a carbon negative platform. This was something that was very important to us, because you see, sooner or later it's going to matter, whether it's very energy efficient or not. And Hedera is actually carbon negative, so this is great for us. And it's not a very flashy chain like the Solana or anything of that sort, but it is backed by some very interesting people like Ubisoft, all the like 27 large corporations, LG,
Oh, okay.
some major banks, Boeing, so these are all using Hedera for their own enterprise solutions right now. They just started their GameFi project, and their GameFi and NFT,
Yep.
space. It's still relatively small, but we get to be a flagship in their ecosystem, something like a flagship in their ecosystem, and that is something we love. And
Yeah.
they're very supportive. They're very good people when it comes to providing the right kind of support. And the community is amazing. I had a space with Koala Hash Club. These guys, they were telling us that they had this system where in the early days there was no marketplace or anything. So when they created NFTs, how they used to trade them, where they used to send the NFTs to somebody and then they would get the money back. The other guy would send the money back. It's like, it doesn't exist in the other
Right.
systems.
Right.
This is more like a trust mechanism,
Yeah.
right? And it's a very protective community. They are very proud of the fact that they're Hedera. They're from Hedera, and they are supporters of Hedera, and they're kind of insulated from all the mainstream crypto ups and downs.
Yep.
Basically,
That's awesome.
So we love the community. It's small, but it's amazing. It's growing,
Right.
and they're very excited to have us, and we're very excited to be with them.
That's awesome, man. Thank you for that explanation. I think people understand, and that's why you see most
Yeah.
gaming on Polygon and different, because it just doesn't make sense to have these massive gas
Yeah.
fees when you're making, thousands of transactions.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
yeah, I think at this point we can kind of wind it down, and I think, Maddie, anything before I kind of close it out? Good
No,
to go.
no. Good to go.
All right. Well, yeah. So last question, Razzle, we actually have two more questions. One being, do you have any questions for us? We've just spent a lot of time together, actually 2.5 hours together. So I want to make sure that you have any questions for us. And if you don't, that's totally fine, but we like to throw that courtesy out.
You guys are on Twitch, right?
Yeah.
How do I find you?
I will send you all of the DMs right after this.
Okay.
I'll send you a
Okay.
friend request. Just accept my friend request, and then I'll get you all of
Perfect.
the stuff.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
This is my first
absolutely.
Twitch. This is my first Twitch stream.
You're
I
actually
did not
on
expect this.
you're actually on Twitter Spaces, YouTube, and Twitch all at the same time. We multi-stream.
Nice. Okay, if I knew that, I wouldn't have talked.
Oh, well,
No,
now you
you
know.
did
You're
it.
also on an Apple podcast.
Yeah,
so,
you're also on an
Yeah.
Apple podcast as well. You're doing a great
Okay.
job. And then
Okay,
final
nice.
question is, like you
Sure.
said, you just were in a space, you've seen a ton of spaces. How did you think
Yeah.
this experience was compared to other things you've seen or been a part of? We like to get feedback for us and our Midlife Crisis show as a whole.
Okay, so this seemed more genuine, and so most of my experience with spaces are basically, a lot of it is, not some of them were great, some of them actually mattered, but a lot of them were designed to give their community certain specific aspects about the project or something of the sort.
Right.
You guys were more focused on what the people are, what the motivations are. I think that's an interesting way to go for it. I mean, that is more revealing than anything else, I believe.
Yeah.
And that's pretty good.
Oh, thanks,
That's
man.
pretty
I
cool.
appreciate that. We get that feedback a lot, and I'm glad that you felt
Yeah,
that, because that's our goal. We
yeah,
care about you guys as humans, and a really cool,
yeah,
cool story from DG, and love that you were able
yeah,
to come in at towards the end and show your passion for gaming. And I can hear the
yeah.
excitement in your voice, and that's exciting to me, knowing that you're at the
Thank you.
helm of this
Thank you.
and you're pumped to
Yeah.
make one of the coolest MMOs that ever has
Yes.
existed in the right way with NFTs. So super cool, and
Yeah.
props to you. So thank you for that
Thank you.
feedback, man. I'll let Maddie say his closing
Thank you.
comments. I'll say mine, and then we'll wrap it up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Perfect.
Maddie, go
So
ahead.
my thoughts. Here's what I want to say. Again, this is a very ambitious project. What
Yes.
what makes me excited about it is every gamer wants to just know that somebody who understands what it's like to be a gamer is doing something about it, building something, right? One of the things that made Blizzard amazing back in the day was
Yes.
everybody who played their games knew that the people who built their games played their games. And there was
Yes.
such a community and a camaraderie that was built there. And the way you just talked about your experience playing Warcraft 3, the fact that you
Yep.
remember the names of characters like Medivh, and I know these are big characters in World of Warcraft, but the thing is that like that was before World of Warcraft, right? This was a
Yes.
story
Yes.
that was told. People forget, they're so used to World of Warcraft that, Warcraft 2 was huge. That's really what put Warcraft on the map, right? But then
Yes.
Warcraft 3 came out and it was just wonderful to play. By the way, they did the same thing with StarCraft, right? I mean, just
Yeah.
amazing story. And I loved how you
Yeah.
said they told a story in a way you'd never heard before. And Blizzard led with
Yeah.
that. And what I think is really cool is that resonated with you, that meant something to you. And just like Mikey said, you could hear the passion in your voice talking about it. It makes me very excited to know that you understanding that and moving in to be at the helm of this to build something amazing is really critical for anybody at the end of the day. If I just want to know as a gamer, is this something I should keep on my radar? Is this something I should invest in? Is this something I should
Yeah.
play? Is this something I should read? Knowing that this is where your passion comes from is a big part of it. And knowing that you got DG there and hearing his background and how, he went into an industry that was rife with scams and lies and things like that, and then wanted to build something that was based on truth, trust, and something that was long lasting. It seems like a very good combination for success. And so I really enjoyed this conversation and meeting you guys, and I'm excited to see where this goes, man. This could be, I want to be on a stream with Mikey one day, and we're announcing the new trailer launch for Astra Nova. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that's what's going to be cool.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I mean, I one thing I would like to point out, just because I'm on this place, that so I'm starting this with you guys as well. This is my first attempt at trying to make something of the sort, and there might be mistakes going forward as well.
Of course there
I
will
talked
be.
to Faiz.
Not might, there
I
will.
talked
There
to
will be mistakes.
yeah,
That's the nature of the
Yeah.
beast.
yeah. So I talked to Faizi about this as well when we started this. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be a very tough road ahead, and gamers are not known to be most forgiving.
Yes.
I know this. I know this.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of worried about that, but at the same time, I'm excited that I get a chance to do this. It's a once in a lifetime thing.
Yeah.
If we do succeed, it's going to pave the way for a lot of people,
I love it.
to actually attempt something of their own.
Yeah.
That's
And
the
so
idea.
thank you for adding that, because I'm just going to mimic everything Maddie said. A couple of things that I want to just point out. One, your extreme passion for this. You cannot, like you just said, go through the next 5 years And if you don't have
Yeah.
passion for this, you're screwed, because you're going to have a lot of crap that's going to be thrown your way. And the only thing that
Yes.
gets you through that is surrounding yourself with the right people and pure passion for what you're doing. So you have that, and that's exciting. Two, like Maddie said, it's super ambitious, but I love the fact that you have thought. You're one of the very rare people when you said we're going to launch a game in 2 years, and you could easily, honestly, your response was longer than the fact that you were talking about like what the game was, because you had your ducks in a row and you have all of these ideas to keep the engagement going. So you're realistic. You're a gamer at heart. Listen, man, right before you came on, because we were waiting for DG to come, we watched the new trailer, release trailer for Diablo 4. That excitement
Nice.
that I got watching that is, I hope you can deliver that with Astra in the future. And I can't wait to see an Astra Nova release date trailer, because I think that's really cool. And then finally, the last thing I want to cap it off is you've already been on this journey for well over a year, if not multiple years, and you've now met us. We just started a 2.5 hour friendship online. We want to be there and win together with you throughout the way. I can't wait to cut this stream up, bring you more videos for help with your marketing content. And I know we'll continue to talk throughout the process. Thank you for being so generous with our communities, to giving us some pre-sale spots. And you know that our community is going to be involved in yours as we grow forward. And let's just win together, man. So thank you for everything.
Thank you. This was a very good day for me.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I love it. And with that being said, people, Midlife Crisis is out for the week. We will be back next week. Just Cubes, Adam. He's a podcast show host herself. We met him through our good friend Edge. He was in his mastermind group together, and this guy's trying to take over the world with podcasts with us as well. And then we got our boy Heliquin coming back on, because Llama Labs is on a 60-day tear of launching a new product every other day. You want to talk about not being able to keep your head straight with the amount of utility these guys are coming out with. We're going to have a little touch base with him to try to figure out what the hell Llama Labs is actually doing. We're going to have a great week. We love you all. Thank you so much.